Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and this is the new Samsung Galaxy A9, which has 4 cameras. Well, actually 5, including the front selfie cam. So the quad lens setup on the back includes a 24 megapixel main lens, a 10 megapixel 2x optical zoom lens, an 8 megapixel super wide angle lens, and a 5 megapixel depth lens for the live focus portrait mode. I think Samsung have covered all the bases here. Although it's interesting, the A9's just been announced right after the Pixel 3, which is likely to have one of the best cameras on the market, and yet only has one lens. So it seems like a fight between hardware and software. I wonder which will be the best solution. Now, of course, the A9 isn't going up against the Pixel 3. This isn't a flagship phone. The £549 price tag means it's more upper mid-range. Samsung are calling it more affordable, which I guess it is versus the S9 or the Note 9, but it is the same sort of price as, say, the OnePlus 6 and probably the upcoming 6T, which are full flagship phones. So it's affordable for Samsung. Let's go with that. We'll come back to the camera in a second though, because there's a lot more to like about the A9, including the gorgeous 6.3-inch Full HD AMOLED display, the huge 3,800 mAh battery, which is nearly as big as the Note 9, so you can expect a good day and a half of battery out of it. It uses a mid-range Snapdragon 660 processor, but it does offer a surprisingly generous 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of built-in storage, plus support for microSD cards. It's a bit of a shame the A9 will ship running Android 8 rather than the new Android 9 Pie, but it's not particularly surprising for Samsung, who do seem to take forever to update to the latest software. But it's not the end of the world. It still feels fast and responsive, and while the Snapdragon 660 obviously isn't as powerful as the flagship 845, it's still got plenty of power and will comfortably run any app or game. Plus, it might even help the battery last a bit longer. I also really like the look of this thing. It comes in 3 colors, caviar black, lemonade blue, but I think my personal favorite is bubblegum pink. The rounded corners means it's really comfortable to hold, and we've still got the headphone jack. But let's get back to the camera, which really is the headline feature of the A9. Now, I should say that I've only had a short time with the phone, which is running pre-release software, but I took some photos of the demo area to try out all the lenses, and my first impressions, well, they're not great. I'll repeat, this is pre-release software. And the primary 24 megapixel lens, which has a wide f1.7 aperture, although that's not quite as wide as the f1.5 variable aperture on the S9 or Note 9, does take great photos. They're detailed, sharp, and colors are vibrant. Now, if we take the same picture with the wide angle lens, obviously you do get a slight fisheye look, which is to be expected given the wider 120-degree field of view, but it does look lower quality, and we seem to lose a lot of detail in the darker areas. The 2x optical zoom lens is even worse. I mean, this is a terrible photo. The white balance is off, it looks ridiculously over-sharpened, and generally it just looks bad. Both the telephoto and wide-angle lenses have narrower apertures, which means they don't let in as much light, and we can expect the quality to be not quite as good, but the 2x zoom lens is just blue. Moving on to the 4th lens, which is a depth sensor and helps with the live focus, it's probably one of the worst portrait modes I've ever seen. Yes, it's giving me a bokeh effect, but it's not blurred out the guy walking in the background, or the white Galaxy A9 stand, and the edge around my torso and my head just looks so fake. The front camera does take a nice selfie though. The whopping 24 megapixel f2 front camera is actually really good, and the selfie portrait mode seems to work well. Video seems to be serviceable. Only 1080p has any sort of stabilization, so 4K is a shaky mess, and both seem to be suffering from similar white balance issues. Now, of course, I don't expect the A9 to compete with the S9 or the Note 9. It's almost half the price of the latter. But right now, while it may have 4 lenses on the back, only one of them is actually any good. I really hope Samsung can fix some of these white balance and sharpening issues before launch, which is in about a month or so. So I'll reserve judgment until then for my full review. So that's the Samsung Galaxy A9, and for a phone that's all about cameras, the cameras, right now at least, are actually a bit disappointing. It's a beautiful looking phone, it feels fast, and it has a huge battery, and I'm really pleased to see Samsung are bringing bigger batteries into more affordable phones. Make sure you do stay tuned and you're subscribed for my full review, where I'll report back if the cameras are any better in the real world. This was of course just a short hands-on pre-release demo. But let me know what you make of the A9 so far in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.